So recently I saw Viper's new video on 682 versus Godzilla, and oh boy, this man did a whole lot of dick riding. Because of how long his video is, I am going to shorten his arguments by giving you guys the time frame of where he said these things. But basically, he was building an ultimate mega composite Godzilla using comics from Marvel, scaling to Thor, Hulk, in the House of Ideas, and Fortnite scaling. Meanwhile, this man bans the Chinese branch and the concept of termination because, quote unquote, it's too hard to understand. You're basically restricting 682's feats because you can't understand them. That's a literal fallacy. You do realize that, right? He even tried to argue being passive is a weakness because Godzilla in his true form is an active aggressor who invades higher realms, while 682 just chills and acts like a passive defender, meaning Godzilla will catch him off guard and absorb him. This is a dumb argument because just because you don't have the intent to fight someone does not mean it affects the AP or personal existence of someone. He even somehow got 682's reactive evolution wrong because he claims 682's adaptation is flawed because it doesn't permanently keep its physical weapons. He argues Godzilla's infinite spiral heat ray grows infinitely in power, allowing Godzilla to eventually outdamage 682's adaptation speed. This shows a complete lack of understanding regarding on how adaptive adaptation works. His adaptation speed is directly tied to severity of the threat, and 682's adaptation is exponential and conceptual. For example, 682 was exposed to SCP-682, a chamber that manipulates the fundamental laws of physics. It completely rewrote its own physical composition to exist under different laws of physics. So when Godzilla increases his energy output, 682 will simply adapt by becoming immune to the concept of kinetic energy and reactive energy entirely. You cannot overpower a defensive wall that scales automatically to your exact tier of attack. And before this man or any of Godzilla fanboys come raid my comments and say stuff like, actually the spiral heat ray, Godzilla has a spiral heat ray that grows infinitely stronger, like Thomas adaptation, but worse. Big issue. 682 adapted to the concept of infinity, endless, and unlimited. Well, actually, he can. Nope, he already adapted to that. He could do that. He adapted to that as well. Just let me talk. Dude, my entire curse technique revolves around knowing things and adapting to that. More of that later, coming in a future video. So overall, the creator wanted to give Godzilla the win, so he gave Godzilla the keys to the entire corporate comic book series, while having 682 to fight with one hand behind its back and also cutting its lore in half. Now let's actually scale both parties, because personally, I get Godzilla around Outer via Godzilla Ultima in the novels, which I'm going to personally grant because this man needs the buff, no pun intended. And I'm going to restrict 682 in only his base form. And before this man argues that I've been downplaying Godzilla because I didn't give him Marvel scaling, just keep in mind the Living Tribunal is literally stated to be second below all, and he literally capped the entire verse to 16th dimensional. So now let's scale SCP-682 because 682 is able to fight the Shy Guy for 17 hours straight. This is important because the Shy Guy is the same person who was able to force the Hanged King, a high to low elder god, to get prep and assistant in order to fight this man and still lose in the end. This is important because the Hanged King is able to steal books and damage the Wanderer's library. This is important as well because each book is stated to be its own universe. A universe in the SCP Foundation lore is stated to have metaphysical bones and is above all concept, granting one universe outerversal scaling. You can get high outer via all of this, but I'm not going to argue it because that's just overkill at this point. So overall, 9 times out of 10, I'll have 682 winning this fight. But if you guys disagree with this video, please comment down below on why do you think I'm wrong, because I'm just curious at this point, you know what I mean? But anywho, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, turn the notifications on, and I'll see you later. Peace out, y'all.